Comfort is expensive, not in money, in something far more valuable, and most people don't find out the price until it's too late to pay it back. You think you're saving yourself by staying comfortable. You think you're protecting yourself. But comfort doesn't protect you. It collects from you quietly every single day, and it never sends a bill until the very end when the bill is your whole life. Let me tell you about a man I knew. Smart man, talented man. The kind of person teachers used to say could do anything he wanted. And he believed them. That was his mistake. He believed potential was the same thing as achievement. He thought because he could, that meant someday he would. So he waited. He waited for the right time. He waited for motivation to show up like an old friend, knocking on the door, ready to walk him forward. He waited 15 years. And here's what nobody tells you about waiting. It doesn't feel like loss while it's happening. It feels like safety. It feels like rest. Every day he chose the soft chair over the hard climb, and every day felt like a small, reasonable mercy. Just today, just this once. I'll start tomorrow. But here's what most people miss. Tomorrow doesn't arrive as a gift. It arrives as a debt. Because every day you postpone the climb, the mountain doesn't wait for you. It grows. Jim Rohn used to say something that sounds simple until it guts you. We suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. And the cruelest part is, you get to choose which one you carry, but you only get to choose once. After that, the choice chooses you. That man I told you about, he's 52 now. And he told me with this strange calm in his voice that the worst part isn't that he failed. He never really failed at anything because he never tried anything hard enough to fail. The worst part is that he never found out. He doesn't know what he could have built because comfort never demanded he find out. And that's the real truth, the one most people won't say out loud. Comfort doesn't kill your dreams with a single blow. It starves them slowly with kindness. It feeds you just enough ease to keep you sitting down. Think about water sitting in a still pond. Nothing pushing it, nothing forcing it anywhere. It looks peaceful. But leave it long enough and it doesn't stay clean. It stagnates. It grows something dark beneath the surface. The water that survives, the water that stays alive, is the water that keeps moving through rocks, through resistance, through places that scrape against it. You are that water. Resistance isn't your enemy. Resistance is what keeps you from rotting in place. Now here's where everything changes, because I'm not telling you this so you feel guilty. Guilt is useless. It just sits in your chest and changes nothing. I'm telling you this because there's a difference between feeling bad about your life and feeling honest about it. Guilt looks backward and drowns. Honesty looks forward and moves. So ask yourself something uncomfortable right now. Not later, right now while you're listening. What have you been calling rest that is actually retreat? What have you been calling patience that is actually fear wearing a calmer name? Because fear is brilliant at disguise. It rarely shows up as fear. It shows up as practicality, as I'm just being realistic, as now isn't the right time. Fear has 1,000 reasonable voices, and every single one of them is designed to keep you exactly where you are. And what happens next is even more important than what I've already told you, because here is the part almost nobody says clearly enough. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. Every time you choose the harder right thing over the easier soft thing, you are sending a message to yourself. A message that says, I am worth the effort. I am not just existing. I am building something. And every time you choose comfort instead, you send the opposite message. You don't even hear yourself say it, but your subconscious hears it loud and clear. I don't think I'm worth the struggle. That message compounds. It becomes the architecture of how you see yourself. And one day you wake up and you don't recognize the person staring back at you, and you wonder how you got so far from who you meant to be. The answer is always small. It's never one dramatic collapse. It's 1,000 small surrenders, each one too quiet to notice at the time. Here's a thought experiment. Picture two versions of yourself standing 10 years from today. One version kept choosing comfort. Soft mornings, easy decisions, avoided conversations, avoided risks, avoided the gym, avoided the hard truth in the mirror. The other version chose discipline. Not perfectly, never perfectly, but consistently. Woke up when it was inconvenient. Said the hard thing when silence would have been easier. Built skills nobody saw being built. Now look at the gap between those two people. That gap isn't talent, it isn't luck. It is entirely made of decisions you have not made yet. Which means, and this is the part that should keep you up tonight, that gap is still yours to close or yours to widen starting today. Time doesn't care which one you pick. Time moves at exactly the same speed for the disciplined and the comfortable. It does not slow down out of mercy. It does not wait for you to feel ready. The river moves whether you're swimming or floating. The only thing that changes is whether you arrive somewhere you chose or somewhere the current decided for you. Jim Rohn said it plainly. You don't get rich by chance, and you don't get poor by chance either. It's the small things repeated that determine the outcome. Nobody falls into a wasted decade. They walk into it, one comfortable choice at a time, never noticing the door closing softly behind them. So let me ask you the only question that actually matters. Not what do you want? Everyone wants things. Wanting is cheap. Ask yourself instead, what are you willing to be uncomfortable for? Because that answer, and only that answer, tells you who you actually are. Not your dreams. Your tolerance for discomfort in pursuit of those dreams. That's the real signature of a person. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of every hard thing you've been avoiding. That version is not lucky. That version is not special. That version simply stopped negotiating with comfort. Stopped asking ease for permission. Started treating discipline not as a punishment to survive, but as the only form of self-respect that actually means something, because it's the only kind you have to earn every single day. You don't need a new year. You don't need a new beginning, a clean slate, perfect conditions. Those are just more comfortable disguises for waiting. What you need is one decision, made today in spite of how you feel, not because you feel ready, because almost no one ever does. Comfort will always be there, patient, waiting, charging interest on every day you choose it. It has all the time in the world. The only question is whether you do. So before you close this video and slide back into the soft chair of your ordinary day, ask yourself the price you've already paid for staying comfortable, and whether you're willing to keep paying it for the rest of your life, just to avoid one uncomfortable hour today. Because somewhere out there, right now, the version of you that you were meant to become is still waiting. And every day you choose comfort, you're not just delaying him. You're slowly, quietly telling him he was never going to exist.